Hey, this is Lee Swanner with Swanner Landscaping and Irrigation. Today what I want to show you how to adjust a Hunter PGP or a K-Rain 75i rotor. It's a very common head. Everybody's got them. Hunters all over the country. K-Rain in a couple of areas here in South Florida. We use K-Rain and they're really good heads. They're comparable to Hunter. In fact, they're sometimes easier to work with. So what you're going to have 3 adjustment points on this rotor, and I'm going to show you in the field in just one second. But the first thing, right there where the nozzle comes out, there's an adjustment point. You're going to need this little tool right here, and they sell these, or you should get one of these whenever you buy a replacement head, or if you buy a case head, there'll be a bunch of them in there. But there's 2 points on this. There's a little flat head type adjustment, and then there's this little hex head on the end of it. Okay, and so this hex head you can put right there in this adjustment point, and it's going to adjust. It's going to hold your nozzle in. It's also going to adjust the radius. Okay, and then there's another location here. It's just like PGP and K-Rain are exactly the same, and so this is going to be your adjustment for your arc. Okay, so it's real simple. You're going to use the flathead part of this adjustment tool on that part right there, and I'm going to show you how to do this. So the best way to adjust these is when they're on, but the most important thing to remember is that you have to set your right stop with this. This is different from adjusting a variable arc nozzle, a spray nozzle, because you normally, on most spray nozzles, you have to adjust the left stop. Okay, but these you're going to adjust. When you screw it down on the riser or the flex pipe fitting, you're going to screw it down, not all the way because you don't want to lock it down. So you want to screw it down to where you're not going to have a leak at the bottom, but you're also going to be able to adjust it because you're going to want to be able to turn it when you get to your adjustment point. Most of the time when you're doing an install, you're going to install your heads and pack them all in, get everything set, and then you can come back and adjust them, and you want to be able to turn it a little bit without having to dig it up or fight it. So the most important thing to remember is that you set your right stop where you don't want to water, and then you adjust it to the left, and I'm going to show you how to do that. All right, so we're going to try this one more time. So I got the water shut off on this K-Rain. It's just like a Hunter PGP. It's a K-Rain 75i, but it has a little on-off switch right here. You can adjust the flow simply. You can turn it on or off. Switch it on just like that, turn it off just like that. But what you want to do, the first thing you want to do is set your right stop. These rotors. They're different from spray nozzles. Spray nozzles, you typically set your left stop. But on the rotor heads, you're going to, with K-Rain and Hunter PGP'S, or most Hunter heads, you're going to set your right stop and adjust them to the left. And it's got an arc adjustment right here, and it's got arrows in the direction that you turn the rotor key. You got to have this little rotor key, and so you're going to turn. If you set your right stop, you can do this without the water flowing to sit, because you see this arrow right here where you adjust your radius. It's a set screw that sets the nozzle in. It also can deflect the water and reduce the radius. But this arc adjustment is the one that can be confusing, and you're going to get yourself wet when you're trying to figure it out, but hey man, that's part of the process. It's summertime here in South Florida, so we really don't care. So what you're going to do is set that rotor key on it's got a little flathead type part on it, and so you're going to set that in there and lock it in place, and you're going to turn it to the right to reduce the arc. So right now I've got it a little shorter than I want it as far as the arc goes, but we're going to turn the flow on so we can see how it's going. So I got my right stop that way, and then I want to adjust it 90 degrees. It's a little more, about 100 degrees. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it this way. Okay, and that's just about perfect, just like that. But if I wanted to reduce the radius, I put the hex key in there and I turn it. See how it's deflecting that flow? It's a lot more misty, unfortunately. You don't want it to be misty and get caught in the wind like that. So, but you also don't want to overspray. So that's the thing. These things are designed for probably a minimum of 20 foot of flow. If your area to water is less than 20 foot across, you're never going to want to use a rotor. I mean, you can sometimes, but you're going to have to reduce the flow down so hard that it's going to be misting, especially if you got a lot of pressure. And you don't want, so you can see this water just blowing off in the wind. So we're wasting water, it's expensive, and we're also not putting down the water that we think we are. So that's the key, man, is just kind of practicing with it. So if I want to reduce the arc, I'm turning it to the left. If I want to increase the arc, I turn it to the right. And then you just check it and get yourself wet in the process. But that's how you do that, man. It's simple. You just got to learn a few basics, but we're going to deflect it down like that, just like that, and it's putting out a lot of water. All right, appreciate you.